Now we'll focus on certain things which are specifically excluded from levy of service tax. Shall we, guys? Certain specific exclusions that we have are as such. Transfer of title in goods or immovable property by way of sale, gift or any other manner. If I am giving up my, say, property to somebody, I am transferring my property to somebody for a consideration, that activity of sale of a property or sale of good cannot be covered by service tax levy. This exclusion is driven not because service tax law wants to say so. This exclusion is given very clearly because your constitution does not permit to levy service tax on these activities. I was telling you right at the outset that sometime our own awareness about some of those constitutional provisions are relevant. It is here. This is because as per the constitution you cannot levy. And at some level you can say that government is providing a clarification by this statement. Nothing else. Seriya guys? Everybody here? So transfer of title and goods, title and immovable property excluded from the ambit of service. Excluded straight away. Then, what is also getting excluded guys? Transactions which are deemed sale of goods. Deemed sale of goods is also referred to in your constitution. Angi exclude pandirupanga. Only because it is covered by a different entry, different article in terms of your constitution. So, deemed sale is nothing but sale under works contract, hire purchase, supply of food or article for human consumption. Don't worry too much. Deemed sale excluded. Normal sale, transfer, gift excluded. Third one. Transaction in money, transaction in any actionable claim. Those are also excluded from levy of service tax. Transaction in money is very technically put, the payment of interest, payment of dividend, contribution of capital, lending of loan. I am giving you loan. So, this transaction is technically a transaction in money. I am taking a loan from you. It is a transaction in money. For this loan, I am collecting interest. That's one transaction in money. You are able to appreciate here. It is pure monetary transaction. That is all. So, these pure money transactions are not covered by levy of service tax. Exchange of currencies, not covered by levy of service tax. All these are straight away excluded. Exchange is a service segment regular, that is covered. I am giving you $1 lakh and getting 60 lakh rupees, that is by no stretch of imagination deemed as value of service. That is pure money transaction. I am lending you 1 crore, I am taking 1 crore, whatever, that cannot be deemed as value of service. That is pure money transaction. In the money transaction facilitate pandradhukku, to facilitate this money transaction, some consideration is paid. On that even they are supposed to pay service tax. But this transaction per se does not attract service tax. Are we clear guys? Borrowing loan, no service tax. Processing charges, yes. Why? Borrowing loan is a pure money transaction. Processing charges towards the facilitation service. Facilitation service is always covered by service tax levy. Fair enough guys? Actionable claim. What is the actionable claim all about guys? Lottery. Lottery is a sale. You purchase lottery. You make money. What does that happens? By the lottery dealer or lottery agent selling you a lottery, is he providing any service for which you are paying him a consideration? No. When you eventually win, assuming you are going to win some huge amount of lottery, jackpot or whatever, are you providing some service against which you are getting some money? No. What is that we are covering here is something called an actionable claim. These actionable claims are a bit different from your pure money transactions, wherein you are permitted to take over something, permitted to receive something. Those kind of actionable claims are totally outside the ambit of service tax. I think lottery is totally banned, except for 1 or 2 states. Almost every other state has banned. Every other state. During, I think, my primary school, when we used to travel to our school back at my hometown, Tiruchila, we had this place, Central Bus Stand. We cross Central Bus Stand and there is like one more place where my school used to be. So I used to cross this stuff. And this bus stand at that point in time was most famous for lotteries. Very famous. In fact, that man got arrested a couple of times for laundering. That man was one of the most politically influential, one of the richest man, and the money that he made was only on account of selling lottery. So huge, one of the richest man in what you call it as down south at that point in time was this man. The idea, I think later if I'm right, memory serves me right, He was arrested because he cheated people in lottery. He printed duplicate lotteries. Technical lotteries are sold by governments, and then these tickets are further sold to all these so-called consumers, if you can call them as. So in between, this man created his own lottery tickets. Probably he thought that he is government. Who knows? But something like that. So lottery not governed by service tax at all. Seriya, services provided by an employee to employer. Notice we are not mentioning it as employer to employee. It is only by employee to employee. These are also not governed by service. It is deemed as self-service. Service provided by an employee to employer is deemed as self-service because it is happening within the entire contract of employment. Fees paid to court and tribunals for dispersion of justice. You file an appeal, you pay 1,000 rupees. Should your CC or CIT appeals charge service tax on that? Why not? Service provide பண்றாங்கல்ல, you are going there for some kind of solution. Arbitration, when you go, you are pretty much paying service tax on that. Is it not here? All political people are making huge amount of money only by doing this arbitration, euphemistically called as arbitration, what we technically call as katta panchayat. So these people make huge amounts of money. On that, will they pay service tax? Assuming they are going to pay, they should be paying. Effectively, you are going there only seeking some kind of solution. So in the government are all these SSTAT and CC appeals or High Court and Supreme Court and all these kind of people, should they pay service tax on the money that is being collected? Yes or no? No. Why not? They are not providing any service. Why not this? What these people do are technically called as sovereign functions. These are not treated as a service. A government does governance, your police department is doing some amount of activity. Those and all, you cannot call it as a service. They are sovereign functions. And sovereign functions are straight away excluded from levy of service tax. I'll give you an instance, a small little scenario. Recognize this particular point and realize that to what extent the sovereign function logic is being extended. HDFC Bank, huge, very popular case law. HDFC Bank long back was engaged by Reserve Bank of India to sell RBI bonds. So RBI, whenever they want to raise money, what do they typically do? They'll go about issuing bonds. So issuing bonds, they'll call it as sale of bonds. Something you will learn in your financial management as well. So you will be dealing with something about sale of bonds. RBI cannot go directly and sell bonds. You don't find RBI in all nook and corner of the country and all. You will have some 7 or 8 offices. That's about it. So RBI typically engages other parties to sell their bonds. HDFC Bank was engaged to sell all RBI bonds, for which HDFC Bank was paid 0.5%. For every 100 rupee collected, HDFC Bank were being paid 50 paise. That is what it is. RBI bond size is not like 100 rupees per se. Some 300, 400 crores will be there. These fellows would have made 2.5, 3 crore rupees as the commission, whatever on your so-called bonds being sold. And there was a levy of service tax by the department on activity done by HDFC Bank. They said that what HDFC Bank is doing is a service to RBI. And therefore, they should pay service tax. You know on what ground it was excluded? They say, boss, it is a sovereign function. The sovereign function is being discharged by HDFC on behalf of RBI. That is all. They are not providing any service to anybody. It's a sovereign function that is being extended and done. You're able to follow here? And that consideration is primarily meant for managing cost and not for an activity that they are doing it. So the target out there, they did not try to say that this is exempted and all. They said that it is not service at all. It's a sovereign function. As a gift, you can levy taxes. You're able to follow here? Everybody guys? Right now it is specifically provided for, therefore no worries. But this is what your status was long back. You hit what exactly is a service. You try to identify whether it is a sovereign function or not. Right, guys? Yes?